Impossible.
Thank you all for coming, and thank you for being out and being committed and concerned about what's going on in the country. I'm sure that many of you felt, probably all of you, felt the way I felt on November 6th, broken-hearted. In fact, this is the first election in my memory, and I voted for Jimmy Carter, last Democrat I ever voted for, and I have repented for you Christians. This is the first election I've ever seen where people wept. People didn't want to talk to anybody. They didn't want to come out of their houses because of fear for what was going to happen to our country. On December 23rd, 1776, at the worst, certainly one of the worst moments in the Revolutionary War, when it looked like it might be over before it even began, these words resonated across the colonies. These are the times that tried men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in this time of crisis, shrink from their duty to their country. But those who stand by her deserve the love and thanks of man and woman alike. Tyranny, like hell, is not easily defeated. Folks, let there be no mistake. This is not about a difference of opinion. This is not about ideology. This is about whether our country will remain free or whether we will be under the hand of tyranny. That's what this is all about, and that's the only reason why I jumped back into this race. If things were normal in this country, folks, I'd be off doing other things, I guarantee you. But because things are not normal, because I believe that our country is in deep trouble, and because I believe that Virginia is where the battle is now joined. Virginia is the place where the firewall must be drawn. And if we don't draw it here in Virginia, all is lost. I was talking to a friend of mine on the way up here who was commenting on the fact that I blasted the General Assembly for voting to implement these Obamacare health exchanges. Defy, not comply. There you go. Defy, not comply. And he said to me, he said, look, if we don't take a stand now, when will we take a stand? Folks, if we don't take a stand now, we may not have an opportunity to take a stand again. And I'm running because freedom is what is at stake. Now, for those of you who've never met me, just a quick, brief bio. I was raised in a foster home, came up in a broken home, poor kid, juvenile delinquent, failure in 5th grade. My father came back into my life, gave me some very clear rules and discipline. Pulled me out of the situation of abject poverty. Mayonnaise sandwiches for dinner, sometimes biscuits and syrup. I was the kid who brought the pot down in the morning. Some of you old enough know what I'm talking about. My father gave me some rules, but let me tell you what he didn't say to me, folks. 33 years in Sunship Building and Dry Dock Company, a black man, born in this country in 1915, in much worse circumstances than anything I've ever known. This is what he didn't tell me. He didn't tell me, son, you'll never make it. Son, people hate you. Son, there's racism in America. What he told me is you can be anything you want to be in this country, and while there are people who will oppose you for whatever reason, when people find out you're trying to do something with your life, you'll get support from surprising places. I went from being an F student in 5th grade to an A student in 6th grade, went on to graduate summa cum laude from the University of Massachusetts with a Phi Beta Kappa key, on to Harvard Law School, Harvard Divinity School, practiced business law, small business law for 15 years, served my country in the United States Marine Corps, took an oath to the Constitution of the United States. Folks, America has been good to me. And while a loving father and a willingness to work hard certainly opened up doors of opportunity, it would not have been possible except in a nation of freedom.
Amen.
People ask me, why do you love this country so much and why do you seem so passionate about it? Because I was a little foster kid standing on a street corner. And because of the freedom that I have in this nation, I'm able to stand before you now as a candidate for lieutenant governor, and it's possible for every one of us and for every one of our children. And there are people, in my view, who are trying to take it away, and I don't intend to stand by and let them do it. That's why I'm talking. Now, some of you know George Washington is my favorite character. Everybody in this race, my favorite American character, my favorite American hero, everybody in this race can do the job of lieutenant governor. I believe that. Everybody can do it. But I love George Washington for this reason. He was not pursuing a career. He was not pursuing power over us or over people. He was pursuing a love for his country. He was willing to die for it.
He could have been king.
He was willing to do anything, make any sacrifice for it. We need people who are not seeking political sinecure and a career. I told all of my colleagues, I said, you know, I'm not going to hold your vast political experience against you. Because the reality is a whole lot of experience is what's gotten us where we are. We need citizen, statesmen, and patriots who care about the country, care about the Commonwealth of Virginia. And I'll say one last thing. We've got to unify, we've got to inspire, and we've got to bring people in who are not now part of our coalition, but they belong with us because they share our values. And if you elect me as your lieutenant governor, when the session is over, I will go all across the Commonwealth into your churches, your communities, those black churches, those Hispanic neighborhoods, and I will sell them the conservative message because I know it's right for every human being, and sell the vision that Ronald Reagan believed in of one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. A city set on a hill, not a little byword of history, a nation that used to be, but a city set on a hill. I know I'm a little over, but I'll end with this. Ronald Reagan said, freedom is never more than one generation from extinction. We do not pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for and protected, you young people, and passed on to you to do the same. Or we will spend our sunset years telling our children about the United States of America, where men were once free. I intend to fight for our liberty and to bring people in who understand that freedom is what's made the greatest nation on earth possible. I ask for your vote. I ask for you to be a delegate for me, to help me. If you like my candidacy, write a check for me, because we intend to go to the convention on May 18th and win, and work with Ken Cuccinelli to see to it that Virginia becomes a bright red state again. Thank you all.